What's up, freaks? Welcome back to Rabbit Hole Recap with Matt and Marty. It is Monday, November 5th. Remember, the 5th of November. It's Guy Fawkes Day, freaks. 2018 year of our Lord. The Bitcoin price is at 6,400 on the dot, a Bitstamp right now. Been a long week. A lot more news this week to talk about than compared to last week. But before we get to the news, we have a new sponsor here at Tales from the Crypt. I got a trip coming up next month, Matt. Headed to Paris. Really pumped for this sponsor because I'm going to need their bag when I'm traveling from JFK to Paris. And this is Baboon. Baboon makes technical duffel bags for all of life's adventures. Their bags are waterproof materials, are tear-proof, and will last forever. Every bag comes with free shipping and a lifetime guarantee. That's a lifetime guarantee. That's a quality product right there. Free shipping, lifetime guarantee. Matt, I know you're a big fan of lifetime guarantees.
Big fan of lifetime guarantees.
Baboon duffels are called Go Bags, and they're designed to go anywhere. Road trips, cabin getaways, and quick flights out of town. They come in two sizes, a small one for carrying on and a large to check. Both sizes can be stuffed in a trunk, carried on your back, or dragged wherever your adventures take you. These bags will never break, period. Again, that's a lifetime guarantee, freaks. I'm a big fan of those. See why Condé Nast Traveler is calling it the ultimate weekender. Visit baboontothemoon.com and enter the code CRYPT, that's CRYPT, to receive 10% off your purchase. That's baboontothemoon.com, code CRYPT, CRYPT, baboontothemoon.com, code CRYPT. And that's an official ad read from a product outside of crypto. I really like Baboon because of their website name. It really meshes well with the Bitcoin vibe. Baboon.
We got that astronomy connection.
Baboontothemoon.com. Very big astronomy connection. There's a lot of people who like to trade on astronomy and Bitcoin, especially some crypto traders out there. Who's the most famous? DJ Thistle is probably the biggest.
The Blood Moon?
Yeah. If Mercury's in retrograde, it's usually not a good sign for the markets. Usually turmoil.
Yeah, I don't follow moon trading strategies.
Yeah, I'm making this up as I go too.
But anyway, those are pretty badass bags. They have pretty cool interiors.
That's another thing I wanted to listen.
Yeah.
Very, very good aesthetic. Very in line with my aesthetic. Very, very classy bag. One I would be proud to carry through an airport.
And just more products should have lifetime guarantees.
Yeah, no, it's a good selling point. Rainbow's one of my favorite flip flops in the world. They have lifetime guarantees too, which is great.
I never heard about it. I'll check it out. Free ad. You gave another free ad.
Rainbow, my favorite flip flops. All right.
Meanwhile, McAllen still hasn't responded to our DM.
That's why I'm not drinking. I'm drinking coffee. Matt's here.
It's better than LaCroix.
He's witnessing this. I fuck with LaCroix. All right. Have some coffee in my hand. McAllen has not answered our DMs.
Cheers, freaks. I'll be drinking with you.
Another week of Marty being sober. I don't know how much longer this can persist, but we'll see.
As long as we stay at 6,400, we're still a stable coin region.
We are a stable coin region. Speaking of stable coins, thank you for the perfect segue. Tether in the news yet again. Deltec. The
famous Deltec Bank.
In the Bahamas. When did the letter come out?
A couple days ago, right?
Days ago, there was a letter making the rounds that basically was a official letter from the bank, signed by one of the heads of the bank.
There was no name though. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically claiming that Tether had 1.8 billion. Is that what
1.8 billion? Yeah.
1.8 billion in their account. A lot of people on crypto Twitter thought this was a fake. Earlier today.
Well, they didn't think it was a fake. They thought it was directly, like there was no name titled there, and the signature was like a squiggle. So they were it
was a very
they were like the bank
scratch.
is trying to give as little assurance as possible, right? Mm-hmm. And then I forget which reporter, one of the reporters reached out to them, and they wouldn't comment on current clients, which I think is like normal procedure, but everyone said like, oh, that means it's a fake. And now today the bank, the chairman of the bank told CoinDesk like the letter's authentic. Like, yeah, we sent the letter out. They're our customer. They have $1.8 billion in the bank.
So it looks like Tether's fully capitalized here.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think that's like that was in my mind. That was never was or is the biggest risk of Tether.
Yeah.
The claims that they weren't running a full reserve were never based on any kind of evidence or anything. It was always speculation.
Hearsay.
But the bigger risk is it continues to be like government intervention.
Yeah, that'll be a risk if one of the big agencies goes down to the Bahamas and tries to interject. We'll see what happens from there. But again, Tether, news dragging on. The people covering this, I'm sick of the story.
Well, when you were working, so you're working on that montage you recorded that you haven't posted yet?
Yes, have not posted it yet.
We were looking back on the year together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was going back to my tweets last year, like, guys, I've been talking about this fucking Tether bullshit for too long.
Right?
Like, there's so many, the same shit over and over again. It's just the constant, like, literally the tweets are exactly the same as the tweets I was sending out then.
Yeah.
You know, no claims of not backing, but government intervention at any time. It's a trusted third party. It's not inflating the Bitcoin price. It's just really repetitive.
It's the never-ending story.
No one will ever be happy. People still, you think the critics are going to be like, oh, well, now it's all said and done. No, there's like a million other things they'll say.
Yeah, there's always more fodder. So that happened.
I still think it's big news. Probably, it's like there's probably a lot of people that were sitting out and watching the Tether thing that maybe feel more comfortable now.
Yeah, the price did jump a little bit in the last 2 days.
It's just been no prices have been jumping or going down or anything really for like if you have like any kind of longer term preference, it's all just been
pretty stable.
Exactly like 6,400 for just
too long.
8 weeks now or something like that. 9 weeks.
Calm before the storm. Which way will it break? We shall find out. Speaking of breaking, Bitcoin Cash is about to break up into multiple chains. I honestly have not been following this too much.
You like how I put it in the agenda?
Yeah, Bitcoin Cash LOL. So they've got a split coming. What's going on? I honestly have not been following it because I could not give less of a shit. Like Tether, I could not give less of a shit about Bitcoin Cash. I think it is an abject failure, and hash rate and market cap are proving that. But it seems as though people still care about Bitcoin Cash. So what's going on?
Well, it's only interesting because it's interesting from like a case study point of view. I guess the two main there's two main factions of Bitcoin Cash. They disagree with each other.
It's Roger versus Craig, right?
But it's Roger and Jihan versus Craig.
Okay.
Jihan is Bitmain CEO. And so I guess Craig's faction wants to raise the block size to 128 megabytes.
Nice.
And the Roger Jihan faction wants to keep it at 32 and add a bunch of those old opcodes that were all turned off by Satoshi. I'm pretty sure Satoshi turned them off.
I thought they already added those opcodes back in.
That point doesn't really matter. It doesn't even really matter what their what they're arguing about from like specs wise, right?
Yeah.
The point is that about 50% of Bitcoin Cash's hash power supports one side and 50% supports the other, and it looks like that they're heading towards a contentious fork situation.
When's it coming? The 15th?
I think it's the 15th.
Yeah. It's a planned date.
And the interesting thing is, so they're like arguing with each other about who has more hash supporting what. And the whole time, they're arguing over who controls. Bitcoin Cash only has 6% of SHA-256 hash.
Yeah.
So they're, and like I looked it up. I think it's like the top 7 mining pools right now could easily 51% attack the Bitcoin Cash chain. And it'll be like the top 9 mining pools, because when the fork happens, they're going to split their hash on each chain. So each chain becomes even more vulnerable than it already is now. So I think it'd be kind of like the ideal situation would be there's like 100, 200 block reorg at the time of the contentious fork, and like Coinbase gets fucked, and like a bunch of like fucking exchanges all get screwed, and then we could tell everyone like this is what happens when you trust a chain with minority hash rate. So like I think that would be a really nice learning experience.
Why do you think no pool or significant miner has decided to attack a chain like Bcash in particular?
It's
other than Verge and a couple
It's because
others.
of Gian. It's because of Bitmain. It's like so Bitmain. Right now they're people speculate they have about 50% of Bitcoin Cash's hash rate, but like Jihan and like his supporters, like his group and his affiliates and whatnot,
Henchmen.
We could go with henchmen. They can easily move a lot more than that hash over from Bitcoin. They're just mining Bitcoin right now.
Yes.
Because it's more profitable for them because they already have huge Bitcoin cash bags that they don't want to do. So even in that element, like this whole idea that anyone could ever think that like Craig and Calvin are like could get more hash than Jihan is like the most ridiculous thing ever because he could just move it over. So I think the main reason is miners were scared of retaliation from Bitmain, from Jihan. Like for a while there, the only way you could get the best chips was if you had a cozy relationship with Bitmain. And like that's not the situation anymore, which is interesting, right? So like so there's some little game theory going on in the background that has protected Bitcoin Cash because Bitmain has protected it.
Yeah. We'll see if that protection continues into the future. So be on the lookout for November 15th. It's interesting. I audibly chuckled away from the mic when you brought up Calvin Iyer. Like the characters that have accrued to the Bitcoin
the
Cash
worst of the
project.
worst.
The worst of the worst. Like Calvin Iyer, however the fuck you
I don't know how to say his last name. I kind of mumbled it.
Yeah, I just mumbled it there too. But he looks like your creepy divorced uncle that's like hitting on your friends that are like 30 years younger than him, and he really doesn't have anything productive to say.
Just bought a motorcycle, right? Like,
yeah, just bought
showed up to Thanksgiving with a motorcycle.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those cheesy Bitcoiners that probably bought a Lambo just to buy a Lambo. And then you have who's that gigolo who made like a 15-minute there's a hash
Vin Armani or whatever.
Yeah, there's a hash war coming apparently.
Who is that?
I have no idea. Apparently he's on the Bitcoin.
I don't know. It's just such a clusterfuck. I think like Bitcoin Cash was born out of a contentious minority fork.
Mm-hmm.
So once that happens, you self-select to people that are just going to keep splitting over and over again for like bullshit reasons.
Yeah.
So like it was kind of inevitable. And I mean, I've said in the past that I think any minority forks, if they don't get any kind of dominance in the beginning, like they're just destined for zero eventually. Like you can pump them and try and corner the market, but eventually they'll trend towards zero.
Yeah, and it becomes more of a personal dick measuring contest than an actual mission to make the soundest money in the world. And that's why I tend not to pay attention to it. And I think it's funny to see how only a year and a month out of the hard fork, the initial hard fork that created Bitcoin Cash, we see so much strife within the community.
Well, I mean, like what's really interesting is like you have to think of it from like a whole ecosystem perspective. Like imagine you're Coinbase right now, right? Like I don't know how much Bitcoin Cash they have over in Coinbase, but presumably they have some customers that are buying Bitcoin Cash there, especially since they put it front and center with everything else. Now they have to deal with all of this paperwork and customer service and security considerations because this messy fork is happening, and it's happening on an insecure chain that could be reorged at the same time by multiple different entities.
Right.
So like they're getting, what's the expression? You get what you sow or whatever.
You reap what you sow.
You reap what you sow. That's what's happening to them. Like they're literally, and people are going to start seeing the liability these exchanges bring on when they list, certain chains.
Shout out to our sponsor, Cash App, for only offering one asset and avoiding that headache.
They also don't allow you to deposit any Bitcoin, so they're really insulated.
It's true as well. I think they might be working on it though.
Yeah, they are working on it.
Yeah, so Bitcoin Cash, look out for November 15th.
Enough of that shit.
Wasabi, your beautiful, beautiful project that you love so much.
Well, it's not my project,
Well,
but yeah,
the project.
I'm in love with it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you are.
I'm very happy about it.
You've been tracking the total Bitcoin volume within the Wasabi ecosystem, and it has crossed 300 Bitcoin. It's pretty material.
Yeah, well, they posted on their homepage, but I've been writing it down every day.
Okay.
Yeah, but it hit. I think it's at like 300 Bitcoin right now. Last I checked, it was like 297.
Nice.
And it was at like 150 like a week ago 5 days ago when they launched 1.0.
Doubling in a week.
Yeah.
Nice to see. What's the experience been like?
The more people that use it, the faster and more private it is. So like that's why it's so important that we see those numbers go up, that we see more people install it, more people run it, put liquidity into the system.
Have you seen a material difference since more Bitcoin have come on?
Yeah, it's so much quicker now.
Really?
Privacy loves company.
That's true. What's the difference in timing?
Just like magnitudes quicker.
Nice.
Magnitude's quicker, and he keeps increasing. He increases the anonymity set, like how many people participate in each round. He increases as more liquidity gets added. So like when the beta was running, it was like I think 20 participants, and now it's 50 or 49. So like 49 people take part in one CoinJoin transaction. So basically, I've had a lot of questions about Wasabi since I've been kind of shilling it. The basic premise is that you, like when you buy coins on an exchange, you send them to your Wasabi wallet first, and then you mix them in Wasabi to try and make it harder for them to track you through blockchain analytics, and then you transfer it to like a hardware wallet or cold storage.
Yeah.
Like so, it's like the intermediate. You shouldn't be like storing large amounts, even though it's non-custodial and you control your own keys. It's still on like a internet connected computer. So what you want to do is keep small amounts in there at a time and use it as like a staging ground.
Yeah, so if you're like a business accepting Bitcoin payments, maybe you get a bunch of...
Yeah, you accept them into your Wasabi wallet, then you mix them,
yeah.
And then you bring them to cold storage or whatever. You pay out your employees without people being able to track them in between. Or if you have like a compromised wallet, you can like, for instance... If you have a Trezor, you can add another wallet in Trezor. You can press add account. So if you do that, you can then get a wallet that has no tainted transactions, and it's just a completely clean wallet. And then you can slowly take your Bitcoin from the wallet that you've been using, transfer it to Wasabi, and then after you mix, you transfer it back into the new wallet, and then you'll have a wallet filled with non-linked transactions.
Yeah, big improvement.
Less linked transactions.
Big improvements to the privacy games at the wallet UX level. Again, these are revelations that we've been following for months now in the Bent and here at the Rabbit Hole Recap, and it's just interesting to see how quickly and how legitimate these products are getting.
I just literally have been having Wasabi open 24/7, giving liquidity to the system.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you, everyone else. Run Wasabi. It's wasabiwallet.io.
Wasabiwallet.io. I spelled it wrong in the tweet a couple weeks ago.
I corrected you real quick, though.
It's one S, not two. Wasabi. The other, Wasabi, I don't even want to say a competitor, but another privacy-focused wallet. This wasn't on the list, but obviously this conversation stoked this thought in my head. Samurai was under the ire of some people over the weekend and on the defense. Really weird to see. Greg Maxwell apparently called them out because claiming that they have poor privacy because of the way they store. What is it?
No, it's two elements. It's their trusted node feature.
Yes,
and the fact that that the transactions go through their server.
Yes, that's
and
what it was.
The first one was the main reason it was launched was because of the whole Node 2x and user activated soft fork. So the idea was that you would connect to your own node, so you would know. So it was never. I don't think it was really ever supposed to be a privacy focused feature as much of a sovereignty focused feature.
Yes,
and then the other. They're going to open source their whole backend. That's why it's still in beta or alpha or whatever they call it.
Yeah, that's why I was pretty pissed about the people coming at them over the weekend. It's like they've been pretty open about the limitations of this stuff, and
I think both sides. I think both sides of this debate, I guess, mean they just want the best for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And it's all just kind of bullshit semantics. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Maxwell what he said was people should be running their own Electrum server through Tor and connecting to it from their phone with the Electrum mobile wallet, which is like the most insane expectation of an end user.
Right.
It's like so that's never going to happen. So short of that, there is no better wallet than Samurai. Like it doesn't exist. Like there if you want a mobile wallet, as far as the mobile wallet scene goes, there's no better wallet than Samurai.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like, yeah, it could be better and it will be better, and they're improving it. And I'm like really looking forward to Whirlpool, which is their own implementation of the Zero Link framework, which is what Wasabi is doing. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing about Whirlpool is it has an incentive like join market is the plan. So if you provide liquidity to the system, you get a portion of the fees.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
I listened to the Stefan Livera podcast with the Samurai wallet.
That was such a good pod.
That was a really good pod. Definitely recommend checking that out, freaks, if you haven't already.
And he had a good one with Adam too of Wasabi wallet.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that one yet.
Those are two very good pods.
Yeah.
Two very good episodes on one pod.
Shout out, Stefan. Thanks for that. That was a really good interview. So that happened, yeah. It was a lot, like you said, it's like a bit of bullshit semantics. It's like, come on.
But you shouldn't use the trusted node, but that's why that feature is there. And but I don't use the trusted node feature.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. I don't think Samurai's ever like falsely advertised that feature.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a Samurai advertisement, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's kind of a grassroots. The thing's in beta. It says beta, and it scares a lot of people that they're like, "Oh, can I really download this? It's in beta." I'm like, "It's more stable than any of the other wallets." Like, what? They should all have beta tags on them.
That's a good sign. All right, some more cheekier stories here. Gwyneth Paltrow confirmed into Bitcoin.
The Gwyneth Paltrow pump, 2018.
It has started. November usually comes with some weird movements. I didn't think it was going to be Gwyneth Paltrow leading the charge.
Hashtag bullish with Gwyneth.
Hashtag bullish with Gwyneth. We have knocked Betty out of the hashtag. And
Betty deserves it more. I'm hashtag bullish with Betty still.
Okay, we're hashtag bullish with Gwyneth and hashtag bullish.
Yeah, we can't. You can't replace Betty.
We're all inclusive.
Gwyneth doesn't get it.
So her lifestyle brand Goop.
Well, I guess she's an advisor and investor of Abra. First of all,
nice.
So then she put a Q&A with Abra CEO
Bill Bayhart or Bill Ayer. How do you say his last name?
Look it up. But she put a Q&A of with the CEO of Abra like on the front page of her lifestyle brand Goop, which I'd never heard of before, but I guess is a pretty major brand. And then she tweeted it out to her like 3 million followers or something.
Yeah, Bill Height. I'm sorry, Bill. I'm butchering your name. I'm very sorry.
His name's Bill, and he's the CEO of Abra.
Yeah, and Abra's actually done really cool things in the past.
They've done some interesting things.
Arguably doing like smart contracts.
Yeah, they have like crypto collateralized stable coins, I think.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing here is it just continues along this narrative that once you own Bitcoin or own a company that custodies and sells Bitcoin to people, then you're incentivized to shill it. So Gwyneth has proceeded to shill it because she has a stake, right? Yeah. That's what I thought was the valuable takeaway.
We have...
and we had Ron Paul shill it too this week.
Oh, yeah.
In his weekly column, he shilled it. He said that there should be no taxes on cryptocurrencies and we should audit the Fed.
Yeah, it was a very very short mention at the end of a letter decrying...
It was in the closing paragraph. That's like makes the whole thing about it.
Yeah, that's true. And it actually reminded me of what I wrote about today in the Bent. Shout out Jeet Sidhu.
I like Jeet.
Who wrote a great thread, posted it last night, on Deflation and Liberty, the book by Jorg Guido Holzman, who also wrote The Ethics of Money Production. From the Mises Institute. So highly recommend you guys go check them out. But yeah, so I wrote about Jeet's thread today, and Jeet's thread, Ron Paul's newsletter, reminded me a lot of what Jeet's thread was talking about. And it's basically what Jeet and your Guido Holzman are talking about is or sort of de-alienating between deflationary monetary policy and inflationary monetary policy, and basically explaining that they're both zero-sum games and the costs are just hidden in different ways. And in inflationary systems, it's hidden via inflation, obviously. And then deflationary systems, the costs are more abrupt, where businesses are failing and people are going bankrupt and stuff like that.
Right.
So I thought that's an interesting concept. I don't think it's talked about
And
enough.
that inflationary systems are more unfair.
Yes, they're more unfair, obviously, because of the way the money's created. Those closest to the source of the money creation benefit overwhelmingly and asymmetrically, as opposed to those furthest away from the source of money creation, which is the central banking system.
Right. Poor people get fucked and rich people
and
benefit.
The interesting thing about like the inflationary monetary policy and what I really like about what Jorg does in particular, he comes at it from an ethics standpoint, and basically inflationary systems that tend to bail out failing companies. They really make it hard for people to climb the social ladder and for markets to sort of play things out. So there's a barrier to entry for people not close to the source of money creation. So inflationary policy makes it harder to save and make money. You got to make more money to stay with inflation. And I'm sort of rambling here, not making a lot of sense.
No, I mean, I think most of the listeners agree with you, but including me.
Yeah. So check that out. Read that book. I actually listened to the audiobook. It's only an hour and 10 minutes. It was an essay, actually.
Very good.
Really good. Yeah.
Subscribe to the Bent.
Yeah. Subscribe to the Bent.
What do we have there? That reminds me. Your recent pod this week with Jack Mahlers.
Yes.
Fantastic. Everyone, if you haven't listened to it, you should go. That got me really pumped.
He's a genius, man. He is so the breadth of knowledge that he has in different domains is stunning. From a design to an engineering to a finance understanding, he's got a better grasp than a lot of people I've met, and at a really, really young age.
I was quite blown away.
Yeah.
It was a very good interview. Everyone should listen to it.
It's actually one thing I noticed. Was reflecting on yesterday. Last two guests on Tales from the Crypt, the interview series, Justin Moon and Jack Mahlers, both had dropped out of high school or college at one point. So Justin actually wound up finishing college and getting a degree, but they didn't have a traditional path, which
I love it.
Which I think is a very promising and good sign. You know, you can make it. You don't need to go to school. Some people should, but
no, I like it. You see that a lot.
There are other ways. Petro Dash Fork. The
Petro finally like legit launched,
and they forked.
I say
off,
like legit in quotations.
They forked off Dash.
Yeah. So first they started. Their initial announcement was Ethereum. And I got really excited. It was going to be an ERC20 token. And I got really excited because like that's like the best test of whether or not it's centralized was if they could stop this sanctioned country from having an Ethereum token. So then I expected them to switch because I didn't think it was censorship resistant enough. And instead they switched to NEM, which is ridiculous because it's even more. It's like way, way, way more centralized than Ethereum ever is, and it's fucking ridiculous. There's like 1,000 people that own NEM. The whole thing's anyway. Then they said they were going to do NEM, but nothing actually ever happened with it. And now, with the actual launch, it is a Dash fork, which itself is a fork of Litecoin, which is a fork of Bitcoin. So it's like kind of a Bitcoin fork, but there's no. They're using a fresh UTXO set. It's not like they're taking Dash and they're forking it and Dash owners get some Petro or something. Like that's not the case. No, they're using Dash's.
They're doing what
Dash's
did.
code, and then they're starting from fresh. But it's going to be completely centralized. It's asset backed. It's not just gold backed. I mean, it's not just oil backed. They added metals in there too. There's like copper and shit. There's like 10% this, 10% that, and it's all and it's all pegged. So the whole thing is a centralized mess. And so not only with normal asset backed coins do you have the trusted third party risk, but in this case, the trusted third party happens to be like a corrupt government that's like bankrupt. So like you should never trust them.
You should especially not trust the corrupt third world.
Yeah, but they have their website up and shit. It's live. It's probably illegal for Americans to participate. Like you shouldn't, even if you're not American.
It's okay to go to the website though, right?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I'm probably already on a list anyway, but I went there a couple times.
Yeah, you sent it to me too.
Yeah, I sent it to all my tweeters. You can buy with Bitcoin and Litecoin. So like you got to actually kind of respect him a little bit because he's trying to hoover up as much Bitcoin and Litecoin as he can get, you know? So he knows what has the real value because he's selling you the crap and he's accepting Bitcoin. You know?
Don't fall for it. He's a scammer freak, so I don't think this is a good trade. I don't think you'll even be able to trade this if you're thinking about it.
Yeah, they announced some like bullshit exchange support and stuff, and they have a block explorer, but it doesn't show any blocks. I don't know what's going on.
Well, if they're still raising money, does it mean
there's no proof that any money has exchanged hands. All there's right. No, you don't see any actual activity on the chain or anything. It's all mostly a PR bullshit stunt.
Yeah. While we're on that vein, Alejandro Machado, friend of the pod, DevCon 4 was in Prague last week.
Yeah.
Ethereum focus.
No, it might be. Was it 4?
I think so.
Okay, I don't know, but it was a DevCon.
In Prague. Yeah, in Prague. I believe I saw some tweets that Alejandro Machado gave a presentation on experimenting with Bitcoin in Venezuela. So if you freaks, I'm sure there's tweets about it on his page at LAGW, I believe. But yeah.
Yeah, it's ALEGW.
Yes. And he's trying
they have a grant from the Zcash Foundation. They're trying to do like some kind of airdrop education type situation in Venezuela. So
shout out Alejandro for pushing that initiative and go check it out.
And freaks. Fuck the Petro. That's all just bullshit.
Yeah.
We're only covering it because it's relevant because other people are going to cover it, so you have to give some context.
It's funny because
there's a bunch of stories this week that we're covering just because they're not really stories, and so they need to be covered to be explained that they're not really stories.
Exactly. So this is a very good example of the scam spectrum, where the Petro, you have a corrupt government launching a cryptocurrency that is a complete scam and has no basis in legitimacy, and then you have the PhD economist and
good transition
and tech giants who think they can do a better job than Satoshi and the Bitcoin project, and they try to use their credentialed the veil of credentialed legitimacy to shill a shitcoin to normie people.
Is this a transition for Initiative
Q? This is going to be a big one.
There's a PhD behind it, right?
Yeah, Larry White. He's
Larry White.
Big,
there you go.
Big in free banking and
fucking scammer.
Yeah. A lot of people say there's a lot of really good cryptographers who have Satoshi envy.
You either die a great cryptographer or you
live long enough to spin up a shitcoin.
Yeah, the ICO promoter.
I guess you could say the same for the Economist now too.
So this initiative, everyone's gonna show their shitcoin. This Initiative Q is like just straight bullshit, but it's starting to make the rounds, and I thought it was really important to get ahead of it.
Well, they have a really good marketing play. They're emailing people.
It's just free.
They're giving it out for free, and you
get 5 invites.
You get 5 invites. You send it, and the sooner that you get people to
the more up, everyone gets.
The more you get
of the 5 of you.
Yes.
Gets. So they got.
And they're like, it's like purely like pyramid schemes.
But they're not charging any money, so they're like,
but
tiptoeing around the pyramid scheme-ish, right?
But they're straight up saying like, these Q tokens can one day be worth.
Yeah, they're saying trillions of dollars. Yeah. They're like the amount we give you is going to be worth $150,000 when this takes over the monetary supply. It is worth $2 trillion.
Freaks, it ain't ever that easy. All right.
No, this site just screams scam. I'm not sure what the play is yet because they're not taking money, but like if you do insist on doing it, which me and Marty are not participating in this and would never participate in something like this, but if you did do it, definitely do not use your real email address and name. Don't ever send them money. I have a feeling they're gonna ask for money at some point. I don't know if it's a harvesting for email addresses, but they're probably gonna ask for money at some point. Their terms and conditions says they can freeze things at will. Mm-hmm. They have no qualms of saying it's centralized, basically in the nitty gritty. They haven't given any tech specs or coin distribution or how many coins they're gonna keep or what protocol they're using or what the deal is with that.
They're basically just using
glossy videos.
Exactly.
I think they had a Forbes article. They
really,
planted in Forbes.
You know how you make a good scam? You get a really good parallax animation driven website. And
yeah, the website is so pretty. It is so clearly
they've done a good
scam.
job of that. But no, again, this is a pure marketing play, and they have a really good marketing angle, which is the
free money.
But then to get people hooked up, they're the incumbent banking infrastructure was built on technology from the 1960s.
They give the Bitcoin pitch.
Yeah, exactly, and we're here to completely replace it overnight.
But Bitcoin was unfair. That's what they said in the.
Yes. Are we hypocrites?
No, Bitcoin is the most fair money ever invented.
I believe so, too. So Initiative Q, I bet if you freaks out there have been cryptocurrency enthusiasts in your circle of friends and family for a while, you're going to get a couple of emails from some family members.
I've already gotten and chilled it. It's
who
crazy.
think they found the next Bitcoin.
I think with these things, a lot of times you find the news publications, the actual reporters and stuff, there's no hard evidence this shit is a scam yet, right?
Yeah.
So they sit on their hands and they don't make any definitive claims or any kind of coverage or anything. They might even give them some positive PR coverage inadvertently, and then they let them run ads on their website. And then 5 months down the line, they're going to be like, oh my God, we should have seen this coming. We apologize, But since we're independent, we can just say to you, there is no evidence, but pretty fucking sure this thing's a scam.
Pretty.
This is going to be a bad one, I think. I think it's going to blow up. It's going to be, a bigger than BitConnect. This is going to be a big one.
Using half a decade of groomed heuristics to detect and call out these scams.
Yeah, you literally go to the website, that's a scam. Fuck.
It's checking all the boxes.
Yeah.
But, hey, there's a PhD economist behind it and somebody from PayPal.
We don't even know if they're actually behind it either, right? I guess.
I think
because the website says it. But
I think one of them's been shilling it publicly.
Oh, okay, there you go. Because people do sometimes, get their names used when they.
No, this is too big. This is too big to. It's at such a point where they would have had to come out and be like, "I'm not associated with this."
I think you're right.
At this point,
that's a pretty expensive domain name they got.
Initiative Q.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah. Beware. Scam. We're calling it out. Thank us later.
There you go. We'll send out the told you so.
Thank us later, or if it so happens to become the world reserve currency,
it's not gonna be.
You can beat us up in a couple years.
User invite.
Speaking of getting beat up in a couple years, Unicoin, they got beat up for launching their ATMs in India.
Oh no! So yeah, I thought it was important to come back to this because we talked about it in the other rabbit hole.
We could have talked about it last week, but it slipped our list.
It wasn't on my radar. I didn't realize until afterwards.
Yeah, so we talked about it 2 weeks ago. Unicoin went ahead and installed Bitcoin ATMs in India, even though the government...
They weren't true ATMs. They were just deposit and withdraw from their website.
Yes.
But
so one of the founders got arrested.
They both got arrested.
Sonny, right?
So I guess maybe he's the third founder.
Yeah, I think.
But two of the founders got arrested.
Yeah,
maybe Sonny's not in India.
To all our Indian brothers and sisters out there, we're sorry.
But they arrested one at the ATM, in person, and then they went to the other guy's house and they arrested him, and they took the laptops and all the stuff, and they seized some Bitcoin.
Really,
small amounts, but yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
This is the weak point of all of this. The crackdown spot is where the fiat meets, where you meet the traditional banking world, because there's no way to do that without making yourself a huge fucking target for your government.
Mm-hmm.
So short term, that's going to continue to be an issue. And the governments that do it are just hurting themselves and their people because their people are getting fucked and they're losing out on future tax revenue. It's just going to go to the places that are adapt or die, motherfuckers.
Yeah. So hopefully they change course soon. And if not, won't be great for them. I don't think. Next topic, Coinbase, 1.3 billion. 1.3 billion in revenue.
Projected
revenue for this year?
For this year, yes.
Total year, not a quarter, right? Yeah.
Total year. That's pretty good.
Pretty good. It's a lot of money.
I mean, like, fuck Coinbase, but, I think that's pretty bullish for the space.
Yeah.
So that's why I put it in there. Coinbase recently added ZRX and BAT. And I've gotten too many text messages from people asking if they should buy it, which just fucking infuriates me. And just, I don't own either, and I wouldn't buy them.
He got dragged into a Twitter war this weekend too, Brandon Ike.
He gets dragged into a Twitter war every fucking week. Dude's got such a fucking ego, man. And at the end of the day, the reason they have the BAT token was so they can make a shit ton more money. And he's never going to say that. So, like, debating him or arguing with him is just a mindless exercise because he's never going to say that. And the other side's always going to say that because that's what he did. And there's that. Because this whole system can run on Lightning.
Yeah, you're going to be able to set up web sockets and...
Yeah. There's nothing decentralized about BAT either. Like, they control the token supply. Publishers have to get paid through Uphold, which does full KYC on you. Like, it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. And again, it's like...
It's that thing what you were saying, patience.
Exactly. Like, people spin up these tokens for use cases that will be enabled in the future. It's just going to take time to get there. Slowly but surely, that's being proven out.
But, I wouldn't, like...
You know what's awesome?
Just say, it was to make a shit ton of money.
Yeah. And not to pat myself on the shoulder here, but when I was doing research for the montage, going back and reading old bents, I was giving out some pretty good advice this time last year in the Mania, I have to say. Pat myself on the shoulder.
I was patting myself on the back, too.
Yeah.
We did pretty good. That's why we're where we are right now. That's what's cool about this space. Is like they really... It tends to have, like, a pretty decent memory. And it just weeds people out. Yeah.
Adapt or die. It's but it is interesting to see like if you are patient and have a long-term view, like these things will come to fruition. It's just, again, to think that you're going to get all this shit out of the box is asinine. Like, think.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, Brendan didn't think, like, that's not... He knows that. Yeah. But he just want to make bank.
That's true.
Like, if you could control the token supply, you might as well try. Right? Can you really, like... He'd go fuck himself.
Is it unethical?
But yes, I think it is unethical. But, like, a lot of people make money unethically.
Yeah.
Right?
Right? Yeah.
So, like, I'm just saying, like, I feel like the incentives are set up so people end up... shilling their ICOs, right? Yeah. Like, that's how the incentives are set up. And, like, over time, they get weeded out, and that sucks.
If you make signerage as easy as a couple lines of code, it's going to happen.
It's inevitable. That's what's going to happen. That's people's natural greedy inclination.
Yeah.
I just wish he just admitted it and just said, like, that's why BAT exists.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
No, that'll never happen.
What is WEX? And they have 90... WEX is the exchange that took...
So BTCE was
exchange.
One of the dopest exchanges that existed in Bitcoin history.
They were laundering all the Gox coins.
Yeah, but they were anonymous, and they never had any issues until last year when the government took them down. Before that, everything was... They were, like, surprisingly good at customer service. There was loyal... they were from the Gox days, and they existed... And they never did any KYC on you. They had a very limited palette of shit coins. Like a tasteful amount, so you still had some access, but, not too many. There was like a full-blown shitcoin exchange. Like, everyone knew it was a Bitcoin exchange. And then the government, like, fucking took down the guy when he was, like, on vacation in Greece. It was, like, run by Russians.
Mm-hmm. Did they pick him up in Greece or...
He was on vacation somewhere. and they like rammed through his gate, and like huge operation took him down. And then didn't he accidentally kill? I'm doing quotes. Didn't he accidentally kill himself in custody?
I think yes.
Something super sketchy happened, and then he died. And then Wex pops up, and supposedly it's from the same guys as BTCE, and everyone's customer balances are going to get restored. So at this point, I'm like 99% sure that Wex is a honeypot designed to like, okay, we got the guy. Now let's try and get the users of the exchange, right? Like, so one of the reasons they went after him is because we had all that ransomware that was going around. Remember, like the WannaCry and shit,
Yeah.
where they would encrypt your hard drive and then demand Bitcoin ransom. A lot of those funds were going through BTCE. And afterwards, like a lot of people were saying, like a lot of the Mt. Gox stolen funds were going through BTCE as well.
Yeah, Wiz sort of proved it, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, a lot of money got laundered through them because they didn't do KYC or freeze funds. So like that makes sense. So I thought Wex was a honeypot, but it turns out that it probably isn't a honeypot because whoever runs Wex is trying to steal all the fucking money, and they sent a bunch of it to Binance, and Binance froze it.
Yeah.
So not your keys, not your Bitcoin. We got that lesson.
Yeah, and it's Ethereum, right?
Yeah, it was Ethereum, but not your keys, not your Ethereum. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
I think it was 93,000 Ethereum got frozen at Binance.
93,000 Ether.
And it was mostly through public shaming because I don't think Binance like honors
this
crime norms.
This is
criminal norms.
An example of why you should be careful with trusted third parties for legitimate users and criminals alike. These criminals should not have trusted Binance. Everyone's a fault.
Or like use a mixer or something before. I don't know what's going on there. I haven't really looked into it that hard. Because like it was a shame when BTC was taken down, but after that I just assumed like all the money was gone, guys. Like once that happens, like once there's like an international investigation and execution of that investigation, and then they kill the founder, like you shouldn't use the site anymore. I don't know. Like that's big stay away in my mind if that's that has happened. But what was cool was CZ, the CEO of Binance, was like, I froze these, but in the future they're just going to use decentralized exchanges.
He said that about the criminals?
Yeah, he's like, we can freeze them now, but I'm just warning you, like in the future they're going to be using decentralized exchanges.
Yeah. Good on you, CZ.
To launch their funds. Or like, something like Wasabi.
Yeah.
Ethereum has a bunch of mixers too.
Yeah.
That's why it's weird that they didn't use a mixer or anything.
At one point, Mixer was driving like 90% of Ethereum transactions, correct?
Yeah. They were being cocky about it, and they just sent it straight to Binance, thought it wouldn't be frozen. That's pretty stupid.
Yeah, it was a very stupid idea. That's a lot of money, too. Where are we? Where are we now? I think, Janet Yellen.
I guess it could have been corrupt. It could have been, we had Carl Force and shit. It could be a corrupt honeypot. Mark Force or Carl Force or whatever, the guy with Ross Ulbricht.
With
Silk Road. He was like stealing money from Silk Road at the same time and then went to jail afterwards, and his testimony was like one of the main reasons that Ross got the sentencing he got.
Yeah.
So it could be like that. It could be a honeypot, and then like the marshals are trying to steal the money or something, and then CZ froze the marshals' money. That'd be exciting.
That would be exciting. And it would like prove that corruption is rampant.
Well, that's proven, I think.
Yeah.
Janet Yellen does not own Bitcoin. It's important. It's important for us.
Yeah, where was she? In Canada?
It hit all these fucking headlines that Janet Yellen. So she talks shit about Bitcoin, which you come to expect from Janet.
But she hit like all like the worst tripes that have been pretty thoroughly debunked, very specifically in the last like 2 to 3 months, with like mining and like fork inflation and stuff like that.
We've been debunking that shit for years.
That's
It
true.
doesn't matter, and then we're gonna be debunking it for years. That's why one of the reasons this pod exists. But the point is that there's so much bullish fucking news in this space. You don't need to make up bullshit. Like there's all these headlines running around that Janet Yellen owns Bitcoin now. What happened was Janet shat on Bitcoin, and then someone using their own custodial service that they're the CEO and founder of send $20 to her email address worth of Bitcoin that she has to like click and like log into their custodial service and like accept their Bitcoin, which she hasn't done, and is now like, Janet Yellen owns Bitcoin. So it's a de minimis amount. It's like fucking $20, and she hasn't even accepted it, and she was unsolicited. She didn't ask for it.
Great growth hack there. Great growth hack there by that company.
And tons of articles. CoinDesk covered it. A bunch of different people covered it.
Now that's how you goat clickbaiters into a free ad there.
We're covering it because it's not fucking news. Like, I was so triggered by it. I thought it was important to say that this isn't news.
Hey, for all you growth marketers out there, it's a great case study.
Fuck this shit, man. Janet Yellen does not own Bitcoin yet, and that's a feature, not a bug.
That's all we got on the list. What else can we talk about? We've got about like 10 minutes left. Let's riff.
Well, I guess I tweeted out to our people what the biggest news of the week was, and a bunch of people wanted us to cover. I guess there was like a controversy after World CryptoCon that happened in Las Vegas that I haven't been following at all. And did you see this at all on Twitter today?
Oh, yeah, CryptoCon or whatever? Is that the one?
Yeah,
like
I guess there was like sexual harassment and stuff. And
Wait.
people were victim blaming.
What?
And then victim defending. And so both sides are going back. Like, sexual harassment isn't okay. Like, that's all that needs to be said, I think, for this story.
Was it like Crypto Trader Conference or?
I think the fucking thing was called World CryptoCon. It's based in Las Vegas. Like, this is never going to be like a tasteful conference, right? Like, there's no, like, we would never even think about going to this thing. But I guess some women felt uncomfortable there, and when they voiced that feeling that they were uncomfortable, they were then attacked for that. And, you know, who knows, you know, what actually happened. We didn't fucking follow it. Yeah. But, you know, we should just not support that in the community.
Definitely not.
I mean, I don't think it's worth covering, but people kept bringing it up, so.
Did they really?
Yeah, and my biggest news of the week little thread I made, asking people what the biggest news of the week was. Figured that was a good idea going forward for the pod. You know, you just poke everyone ahead of time. See what they want to talk about.
It's a good growth hack too. Get people a little.
Get them ready for it.
Get them
excited.
I like that, Matt. Always thinking. Sexual harassment definitely bad. Don't be a douche. Be
exactly.
Kind. Like, it's pretty simple. Just treat others the way you'd like to be treated.
Oh, and then the other thing came up, which was censorship of porn in the UK, based off of that. Which I just don't think censorship is okay. Like, you shouldn't. There's like. Who decides which porn is good and bad porn? Like, that's the issue. That's where you get to the issue.
I think I could step in there. I'm kidding. No, yeah, that's it's slippery slopes. Just
you have a human there that's gonna abuse his fucking position. Yeah. Like, that's what always happens, no matter what. Yeah. Censorship is never okay.
Yeah, I think porn's just gonna be here, and if you try to censor it, you're just going to drive it to like BitTorrent or something like that.
Decentralized porn.
Yeah, Spank Chain coming in now. Jesus Christ. I just triggered a few people out there. I can feel it.
Pull it back. Strike it from the record. You didn't say that.
Yeah, what else is going on? I mean, again, going back to the volatility, lack of volatility. It's crazy. I haven't seen, like, looking at the chart just looks so weird with how steady it's been for the last month, 2 months.
It's driving Murad crazy.
Going back to September 5th. So 3 months now almost.
It either breaks up or down.
Yeah, obviously.
You know, I'm ready for down and I'm ready for up. And let's go on this wild ride together, you know?
Yeah. No,
long term we're good. So short term it's crazy and hilarious to watch how much it drives people crazy. It's the same thing happened last cycle. It's just these. Yeah, but I feel like these long stable periods freak people out. It's fucking fantastic.
Things like Goop last week during the 10th anniversary of the white paper. There was a lot of media coverage. Like, I was coming from Hoboken back to Brooklyn on Halloween night, and they're sitting there on the train platform, and like the NBC news flasher has like Bitcoin
really
turned 10 today. Like, I just have like
That's cool.
This is very anecdotal. I just have a feeling like maybe it's becoming a little bit more palatable. Maybe the exhaustion after the blow off top and subsequent fall is beginning to wane, and people are again gaining interest. I don't know.
I was talking about this the other day. This time last year, it was fucking. We had just hit our all-time high of $7,000. Freeze frame Matt, popping bottles of champagne, freaking out. You know. Like a couple weeks later, like Selkis is like, he's like, I'm trying to figure out like a unique way of shorting the market, you know, like we're hitting like 9K, and then we hit like 11K, and then dropped down to like 8,500, and everyone was fucking scared shitless.
Yeah,
like
that was 2 months, people.
No one knew that was gonna happen. You know, no one was like, well, like the fractals tell you that it's gonna, you know, go to here and go to there, and
yeah.
Like
fractals.
Yeah, I'm more bullish today.
The charts are fun to look at, but
I'm more bullish today than I was then.
I am as well.
And it's just funny when you think about that, where like that's why I don't trust my emotions, because we could break down here, but I thought we were more likely to break down last year, and good thing I was like, well, fuck that. I'm not a trader, you know?
Exactly.
So long term, it should benefit the people who ignore their emotions.
Yeah, the market can.
No one knows.
Market can bitch slap you in the face and be like, "You're wrong."
And I'm bullish with Gwyneth and Betty.
Yeah.
And Murad.
I'm
bullish with Murad as well.
Bullish with bearish Murad.
I was reading one of Murad's old posts, and I just felt so much FOMO.
Yeah, I think that's all we got for this week, freaks. Shout out to our new sponsor, Baboon. Again,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
baboontothemoon.com, code crypt, 10% off.
Yeah, we got our own promo code. I think this is our first promo code that we've ever had.
Yeah.
We're growing up.
So shout out Baboon. Definitely check them out. If you're looking to go on a trip, check them out. If you guys, like Matt said, if you have any topics you want us to discuss, definitely tweet them at us.
Yeah, or DM. Our DMs are open always.
DMs are open.
People have been taking advantage of that, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Which is great to see. And use Wasabi. Everyone should go use Wasabi and give us all liquidities, because privacy loves company, and we need each other.
Yeah, and watch out for the scams out there. They come in many forms. They're led by different archetypes as well. So just be aware and help people discover them as well. And maybe your family members that might be getting scanned by Initiative Q right now need a little help in the form of you saying, hey, this is a scam.
Damn right.
All right, that's all we got. Peace and love, freaks.
Cheers, guys.